guys, again. Today we're going to work more on lead code. So let me share my screen right now. Okay, this one, that's what we're going to do today. And I need to make it big, I think. Okay, so let's see the problems. This one like 73, that's matrix zeros. It's like medium exercise problems. Okay, what we're going to do here, given an m time and integer matrix, if the element is zero, set its entire row and column to be zero. And also you must do it in place. This means we're going to return our matrix, original one. So what we see on the example here, right? So in this is the input in each row it's 1, 1, right? And then we map 0 here. So what should be returned is been, we choose return entire column here should be 0. And then entire of these rows here should be 0. So that is to be output. And this is the second one. Okay, so in this case, what we want to return means this row should be 0. Yep. And then this column should be 0. This column should be 0 as well. So this is output. Okay, let's think about what we're going to do. We need to go through each element and check on every position. And then we check if they are in the rows and the column, they are 0. And then we want to place is position with the 0. Okay, so it means the time complexity is gonna be O of n square. No, O of n is like linear time of m time n. So because we want to go to check on each element, every position, if we found 0, it means we cannot avoid linear time. That is the worst case scenario. It's gonna be linear terms. Okay, so we know we're going to just return matrix, the original, because we want to do in place matrix. Okay, and what we're going to do here, I'm gonna create num rows, which gonna set to matrix length because we want to go through every row, every column length, and we gonna have, I mean, I don't need to, but I just want to do numcall. So not need to deal with like magic dot length inside loop link. This one we want to go through every 0, every column, sorry. And then we need to have something to hold the position when we file it, right? So we want to uh, store the element when we met the 0. So what we're going to do, I'm gonna use set uh, 0 in row. Okay, that what I'm gonna use new set. Okay, and then if we found 0 in row, we want to store in 0 in row set. And then this one gonna be 0 in column. Okay, and then we need to iterate through each row in each column by using for loop. So what I'm gonna do here, let row, right? We want to go to each row is set to 0. And then rows view less than num rows and increment row by 1. Okay. And then we need second loop for column. Let's column set to 0 and row, oh, sorry, col less than num col and increment cols by 1. And then we have to check if the element we map with is 0. What we do, we replace 0 with the number we found, right? So if, okay, a matrix, yep. matrix dot row and col is 0, right? If we want to match here, what we do, we're gonna set that element by adding to the new set by the position. We want to add the position to both of them. So what we want to add position. Because we've already found, right? We found a 0, right? So that's what we want to add is position, not element. Okay, we want to add the position. Okay, and add column. So we found them already 0, so we get the position. Okay, what I gonna say here, I mean, find the 0 position in row and column. And then we need to replace them, right? So we will replace 0 at at the row, and then we also want to replace 0 at the position of column. Okay, that's what we're going to use here. Okay, we already have 0 in row and 0 in column. We can use new set dot for each. So what we want to call pass here is just gonna be element. All right, okay. And then we're going to have another loop inside here. We're gonna be call column set to 0, column less than num call call decrement by 1. Okay, because we want to replace our row position by adding them in the column. So what we do, we're gonna say matrix. That's what we want to replace as row and call set it to 0. So that's what we can get in our row to be 0. Okay. At the same things here, we want to do 0 in column dot for each. We want to pass call, right? We want to replace this with column. So what we do here, let's row, in this case gonna be set to row, and row less than, let me check for sure, I think it should be, okay, that's what we want to replace column in the row. Okay, so this one should be 0 and num row. Oh, sorry, I mean num row, not 0. Okay, okay, row and row increment by 1. That's what we want to do. And then at the same thing, we're gonna just copy here. That's what should work. Okay. Okay. So let's see if my solution is working. So what we're doing here, we have this guy to hold everything, right? So first we find the 0 position in the row and column by just checking if the row element, I mean each element when we loop through. So that's why we need two loops to get to row and column element. And then what we do, we're gonna find out, right? Okay, if our element is 0, what we do, we want to add the position of row and column. So in this case, we're gonna find out, okay, row and column will be this position, right? And then what we do here, we're going to iterate through uh, 0 in the rows and 0 in the column by repassing element here as a row, and then we want to replace 0 at the row, right? So we just replace them when we met at this position. And then otherwise, another things, we want to find replace 0 at the columns as well. That's what we do here. That should work. Let's run to see if my code is correct. So excited though. Oh my God, that's test pass. Okay, that's cool. And let's submit. It should work. That's so cool. Okay, my solution is working. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in next one. Thank you. Bye.